Hello, everybody. I am getting on here finally. The last video that I shared was hashtag snowflakin', and that was me sharing basically kind of where I'm at right now. Has it been a journey? Yes, it has. So, we moved out of the place that we were at and went and stayed with some friends in Florence for a little while, just to kind of gather our minds and just recollect ourselves. That was really nice. And we came back because I had to continue working and doing all of the things. But it's actually turned out quite well. There's definitely been some moments where it was really overwhelming. There were moments of, where it just felt a lot more real. It's definitely been difficult. It's been one of the biggest transitions I've ever experienced. I'd say over the last 3 years has been the most turbulent and trying times. Just a lot all happening at one time. So I'm just going to share a little bit about what I believe is happening with myself as well as the collective. So I began my healing journey. Well, of course, I've been healing throughout my whole entire life. I wouldn't even necessarily say that. I have been living my life, and I didn't intentionally start my healing until I had moved to Hawaii. So I grew up in I know I love my family, I love my upbringing, but I definitely grew up in, I would say, dysfunctional family and environment. Most of my family are, we've all been through a lot generation-wise. We've come from a long generation of poverty, and with that comes, basically, we've all just been living our lives in survival mode. And with that comes like raising children in toxic environments, and then they create defense mechanisms and also continue to live in survival mode. So I grew up around a lot of dysfunction. Although I was being provided as well as I could be, I was definitely loved. I had a lot of love in my life. My parents, my family, we all loved and cared for each other very deeply. We just had a lot of habits and traits that, and addictions that we had created from having to cope with our lifestyles and our upbringing. And so I grew up, I saw my family use like drugs and alcohol. And growing up, I knew that wasn't the type of life that I wanted to live. I knew inside of me that there was more. I was thankfully shown lifestyles from other people. I think that when you grow up in poverty, a lot of the time you only grow up around similar people experiencing the same things. So that's all you learn. I am thankful that I was exposed to other ways of living. Like, there were different people who lived without addiction. I remember there was a moment in my life where I met a family in school, like a peer of mine, and I realized, like, as I was in these classes and courses and learning to getting to know these people more in school, that there were families that didn't grow up around addiction. And that was so bizarre to me. I remember having a moment where I was like, what would that even be like? Like, what did people do? Like, if people aren't like smoking weed or drinking, like as a teenager, I was like, if that's not what they do, like, what do they? Like, what are they doing? And now I know there's so much more out there. There's so much to live and so much to do in life, like in the outdoors and in nature. And oh my goodness, and with art and just adventuring and traveling, there's so much to do in the world and like with your families and things like that. But I grew up, with more of just like survival mode all the time. So where am I going with this? Okay, so yeah, so I grew up kind of like, I think, shutting out a lot. I learned to tune a lot of what was around me out. So a lot of my childhood, I actually don't remember. There's a lot of like blank spots in my memory, and there's only certain things that I remember pretty clearly. But I basically, like, that became a defense mechanism of mine where and I also know now that I am an empath, I'm a sensitive, and so I pick up a lot. If I do pay attention to everything that's around me or the people or the things that are happening around me, it can be overwhelming. And so I've learned to tune a lot out. And then I also developed, like, I ended up having really intense anxiety at the age of 13, is when it really started to, like, become so apparent that it was actually creating conflict in my life. Like, I was having a hard time in school. The teachers actually sat me next to the door so that I would be able to leave and go to the restroom if I needed to, because I would get fits of nausea. I would just like get so nauseous, and I would start sweating and shaking, and I would panic in my mind. Like, I couldn't think. I'd literally be just like, I would get an assignment, a writing assignment, and I loved writing. I loved like getting a topic, like, okay, write about if you were to take a trip, like, where would you go and what would you do? Just, I don't know, they'd give us a prompt, and I loved those. And then I would, be writing, but sometimes I'd get excited, or I'd just start my test or whatever we were doing, and all of a sudden my hands would start to sweat, and I'd be like, wait, whoa, what the heck's happening? Like, my hands are sweating, that's weird. And then my heart would start to race, and then my stomach would start to get in knots, and then I would start being like, oh, whoa, what's happening? I'm getting knots, I'm getting sick, I'm getting sweaty. And then I would start to lose my breath, and then I would like panic, and my heart would start racing, and I would need to leave, and I would leave, go to the restroom. It developed so intensely that I ended up going to the counseling office sometimes, because I would like I'd puke, and then I would get really scared, and I would be like, what is happening to me? And I would go to the counseling office, and I'd be pacing and being like, I don't know what's going on, I don't know what's happening, I don't know what's going on with me, and like be crying and just overwhelmed to where my parents, like my dad, would have to come and pick me up and take me away from school. That actually happened. Like, when I think back to it, I'm like, I can't believe, that happened to me at a point in my life. But that's where my anxiety began. And I started to smoke marijuana because they wanted to prescribe me medication, but I had some friends that were already on like Xanax and things like that. And I saw how they were when they didn't have it. And in my mind, I realized, well, for me, I was like, well, she's like, they are taking Xanax to help with their anxiety, but when they don't have it, they get just as much anxiety. So it didn't feel to me that was a cure, or that was like something that would actually help. And so I strayed away from that. And also I knew in my heart that would lead to like other things. I knew. And that's something also in my life. I had a really strong voice or intuition, I guess you could say. I was connected very much to something greater inside of me that I felt always knew what would happen with the choices that I would make. I've even predicted things and sometimes I feel bad for it, because I've seen friends or family members and been like, seen traits in them, and then thought in my mind like, ooh, like I could see how this could affect them very strongly, and they end up going this way in life. and becoming this type of person because of what they're experiencing. And then I've ended up like seeing that happen, like, oh, like, okay, that is what ended up happening. And like, did I predict that, or did I just know, or did I create that? I don't know. But yeah, I have a lot of my life I've been really connected with, oh, that's how that will play out. This is what will lead to this if I make these choices. And so I ended up getting into marijuana and becoming a really heavy smoker. And then as I grew up, I began drinking, and I always grew up eating like not the best foods. My family, we grew up with like my mom would cook things, I think, from scratch because she is Hispanic, and I think she just learned, she worked in the industry as well as a cook. And so she would cook good food when I lived with her, but I lived with my father most of my life. This is a lot of information. So I hope you guys are keeping up with me. I'm just going to share, like, that's all I know how to do right now, is just open up and share what I can. I want to write everything out and try and map it all out, but right now in my life, that's just not how it's going to be able to work right now. We did find a place to live, if you guys are all wondering. We're staying in our Jeep a little bit, and we're also staying with friends. I was vulnerable and opened up and put a post out once we got back from the coast, and we tried to stay a few nights on the street. And at first I was like, it'll be a fun adventure. Like, it's not that bad. We have a place to sleep. We're in Eugene, Oregon. It's pretty cash, but right now with the state of our city, there's a lot of homelessness right now, and it just doesn't feel as safe. And so we reached out. I put a post up, which I never do. I never reach out to people. I suffer through my shit on my own. Like, that's how my life has always been. Like, I'm going to keep it to myself. I'm not going to tell anybody. Everything's fine. And I'm going to get through this. And then once everything's good, I'll come back to the surface and, connect with people. But right now, I understand. I think that I'm trying to be transparent, and I know that the whole world is in a really rough place right now. So it just felt like the right time to be vulnerable and to be open and to just accept the fact that in life, in order to get where I need to go, sometimes we need a little bit of help. And there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with needing a little bit of help sometimes. And maybe that's like a coping skill that I've developed as well, is thinking that I need to do everything on my own. I'm learning a lot of things about myself right now, and I'm trying to be patient with myself because they were things that protected me, things that I have created, defense mechanisms, protections that I needed in my life in the past. But now I am safe. Like, we are coming out of the masculine energy, which is not a negative thing, but it is just a different type of energy. And we are moving into the feminine energy. And with that, I'm having to, like, honestly, I've been listening to this motivational, like, life coach online. Her name's Christina Lopez. I definitely recommend checking her out. She's been helping me a lot in my journey with understanding what's even happening, because not everyone can understand. A lot of people thought that I was, like, really highly depressed, and that I was, like, I don't know, I even had friends that were like, oh, you are not, connecting to spirit or having a spiritual awakening. You are, like, connecting with some darker energy, because if you're feeling what you're feeling, you can't be connecting with God or source or be healing. You have to be connecting with some kind of evil entity. And I get that, but even Christina Lopez explains and talks about that as well. Not everyone who is going through a spiritual awakening will understand what you're feeling. I was feeling literally like I was dying, or I wanted to die. Like, I have never been someone who has been suicidal. When I was growing up, I had a moment where I did self-harm. But it was never because I wanted to die. It was because I had so much energy within myself and so much anger and so much pain. And I felt out of control that I needed something to release the pain and the energy that I had inside of myself, the anger, and I needed something that I could control. And so when I harmed myself, it was like I was releasing and I was also feeling, because I think when you're trying to get through and you're just taking on and taking on and taking on, and that you start to numb yourself. And then it also, when you self-harm, not only are you releasing a certain kind of energy, or you think you are, you also are somewhat like feeling that, or making yourself feel it. It's a weird thing. That's at least what it was for me. But I eventually grew beyond that. But no, like recently, within this last year, I also had an experience with birth control. So that's something I'll go into later. But it was like the pandemic, like the whole world around me was going crazy. I was in the midst of leaving my old self, my ego. Like my ego, I felt, was dying. I don't think it's like your ego dies and that's it. It's because I've been learning more and more about my ego, or my shadow self, or whatever you want to call it. I'm still learning myself, all of these terms and what they mean. But I do know that I felt like there was like, yeah, there's a whole transition. Anyways, to my point of I was growing up, I created a lot of self-defenses. I ended up getting into marijuana because of my anxiety and stuff. I also had a hard time socializing and feeling comfortable, so I became a drinker. And drinking allowed me to get out of my anxiety and become comfortable and just basically have no fucks. I'm someone who constantly thinks, I constantly analyze, and I can worry and I can have anxiety. So drinking and marijuana allowed me to let go of those things and be in the moment and just relax and have a good time. And so I ended up kind of going into that world and continuing that path. It wasn't, the worst. I tried to be aware, I tried to be kind, I tried to be, still a good person, but I did become kind of a partier. And I created a personality with that. And people liked that personality, that outgoing, fun, just like, And I kind of leaned into that and became a bartender and had a really good time. I honestly think I was very aware in that moment too. Like, this was something I did want to experience. I do believe that we chose to come to this planet. We are spiritual beings that came to Earth as a choice. And we chose what experiences that we wanted to have because we wanted to gain specific lessons. I really do believe that and I've had this belief from a really young age, and as I've grown older, this belief that I created on my own from information I gathered. And I honestly think it was just there because I, again, believe that we chose to come here and that knowing was deep within myself. And it's like a huge experiment. And in order for the experiment to work, there has to be as little variables as possible. So when you are born into this reality, this realm, we can't remember what we actually are or it wouldn't work. So we are basically, the information of what we really are is taken away, but you can't really ever take it away because it's who we are. But it's kind of blurred out so that we are born into this and go through the experience in its raw form and learn what we're supposed to learn through the lessons and the struggles that we take on, or that we experience. But anyways, so I loved it, and I was like, I'm going to really just experience this and be in it and all that it is. And so I went to festivals and met a lot of amazing people, expressed myself, partied, and it was fun. And then I ended up working at Sturgis, a motorcycle rally, and me and my friend, my really good friend, we had worked the motorcycle rally festival, and at that time our lease had ran up in Portland. And we had been working, and I had been traveling for so long at that point. And stability wasn't a big thing in my life for the most part. There were moments where I was, but they were very short-lived. But we finally were like, when we get back, we had been talking about going to Hawaii since middle school. I always thought it was kind of cheesy, but she was always like, no, it's beautiful. And then the more that I went through my life, Hawaii kept popping up, and I kept meeting people from Hawaii, and the more and more I did, the more and more I was like, you know what, this does sound like a good idea. This does sound like a cool place. So we did it. We were got back from Sturgis motorcycle rally. She actually went before me though, because I didn't have enough money saved up. She went to Hawaii, ended up having to find this guy on Craigslist because the living situation we had at first didn't work out. And she was there by herself with her daughter. She's an amazing. I'll tell you more about her, and eventually she hopefully will come on to my page and speak with us. We'll do like a little, we're just going to talk it out. She's going to come on. We're just going to be ourselves and discuss what we discuss, because naturally we just both have really intriguing and like awesome conversations. So what up? That will come in the future. I'm excited for that. She actually just came to visit recently. We went to the Hyatt Motel. She's a boss. And we like hot tubbed it up, had drinks on the top of the roof. Yeah, amazing. With the kids too, though, actually. It was awesome. They're cuties. But yeah, so we finally went to Hawaii, and that's really where my intentional healing began. I went there and met her, and a lot happened there. A lot happened. So I'll go into that more too. I'm feeling like this is a long video. But she was there with me at first, and it was an amazing experience. She found this guy on Craigslist because the first living situation didn't work out. He's awesome, though. He wanted a live-in nanny, and so she ended up becoming the live-in nanny for him. And I was like, who is this random guy in Hawaii that my friend is staying with? I gotta check this out. So I went on Facebook, of course, added him, thanked him for for giving a space for my friend and her daughter to live. And he had 2 daughters as well. So she moved to Hawaii with her daughter, was waiting for me to meet her there. Living situation that she was first in did not work out. She found this person on Craigslist, and he needed a nanny, a live-in nanny for his 2 daughters. So they connected. She moved in there with her daughter. And he ended up saying, like, why are you waiting to save money? Just come on out. Like, you can stay with her here, and you both can get jobs and whatever and figure it out from there. So I was like, fuck yeah, doing it. So I packed my stuff. My family actually helped me buy a ticket because at the time I had been trying to save money but was in Portland and was spending it as I was saving it. It just was not working out quite well. Not the best with money, which is something I do want to get better at. But, and I will get better. I am already in the process. My credit's getting better. Just bought this Jeep. Yeah, it's all happening very quickly, honestly. Like, these last 3 years, it's just been like, when I was in Hawaii, it was like I was by myself, and it was a very reflective time. Because my friend, Catherine, ended up leaving. She moved into the place, became a live-in nanny. I moved over in with her, and his name's Guy. We'll just call him Guy. His name's actually Guy. So she moved in with Guy and his 2 daughters, her and her daughter, and then I came and moved in as well. I ended up getting a bartending job the week I moved there at Maui Brewing, a beautiful spot right on Waikiki Strip. It was honestly like, I moved there, it was like, whoa, we're here. Okay, I'm going to get on it. I made my resume, went out early in the morning and just turned in my resume everywhere, did interviews, was super confident in myself and my skills, and studied the cocktail lists and everything and of the places I'd be working before I went there. And I ended up getting a job right away. And I seriously can't explain the feeling that I had. Like, driving back in my friend Catherine's car through the mountains of Kaneohe Bay, where they filmed Jurassic Park, let me tell you. Like, these are huge mountains. From the city of the job I just got, Maui Brewing, a beautiful place with and I really at the time I really loved breweries and good beer and good food. And I still love those things. But at the time it was my jam. And the first 2 weeks of working for them was literally just tastings. I would show up in this beautiful top floor restaurant, and they would just bring us appetizer, lunch, dinner, all over and over, and we just taste it, tell them what we thought. It was amazing. It was amazing. But I remember driving back from getting the job and literally my whole body just vibrating, and just this lightness of just we fucking did it. We're here. Like, it is happening. This is beautiful. And from then on, like, just amazing thing after amazing thing would happen. The synchronicities that I experienced in Hawaii are beyond explanation. Like, and I will definitely get more into that as I share. There's a lot to share, but this is a good sum. But yeah, she ended up, so I got the job, and I was living with her for a while, and Guy, and it was right on the river. It was right on the ocean. So literally our back porch, you'd go on the back porch and the ocean was right there. And it led to the sandbar, which is this beautiful, like, people take their boats out there and you park your boat, and then it's shallow enough to where you can get out and stand in like crystal clear water. Beautiful. I like experienced some of the most amazing times of my life there. But I've had quite a bit of amazing experiences in my life. So yeah, everything, I truly still stand by everything happens for a reason. And I truly believe it. Like, I always will. But yeah, so she ended up having to leave. I worked at the brewery. I worked at the Maui Brewing for a while. I'd probably say almost a month. And then she had some complications back at the home on mainland that she had to deal with. So she flew back and had planned to come back, but ended up getting pregnant. So that's the truth. Yeah, she got pregnant with beautiful baby Atlas. He's amazing. He's amazing. And I'm so glad for it all. But at the time I was like, fuck, no, what? Okay, so here I am in Hawaii at this dude's house and his 2 kids. I had to quit the Maui Brewing job so that I could take over the nanny gig while she flew back to the mainland. So I ended up being the live-in nanny for the 2 little girls. They're beautiful little girls. Like, I'm so thankful to have been gifted that. Everything at first, it was like, no, you get these times where it's like, oh man, like, this sucks, but it usually is because of something like that is waiting for you that is greater, or like the situation can benefit you better, even if it doesn't seem like it will at the time. But like, your coffee spills all over your lap on your way to work and you're wondering, man, like, why this is so shitty. Instead of being like, this is shitty, be like, oh, okay, this must have happened because if this coffee didn't spill on me, I would have kept driving, and who knows, maybe I ended up in a car accident. But because I spilt this coffee and had to pull over and clean it all up, my life was saved. But you would never know that because you're so focused on the fact that your fucking coffee just spilled all over your goddamn lap. Burning hot. Who knows? No, I'm just kidding. Mine's iced, so no worry here. I'm just kidding. So, yeah. So I ended up having to be the full-time nanny. I ended up being the full-time nanny, which I'm so grateful for. It was a beautiful experience. Props to mamas out there, though, or single parents, because, woo! My goodness, it's a beautiful experience, but there's so much to it. Taking care of kids is full time. It's like 5 jobs in one. It's nuts. But so props to you, parents, mamas, papas, all of you. You're amazing. You do God's work, seriously. Yeah. Anyway, so yeah, I ended up being there by myself, and that's where it really hit me, because I was there in this house away from everyone I knew. I knew no one there. My friend Catherine was no longer coming back to Hawaii. We weren't doing this together. It was me. And I didn't want to return. I wasn't ready. I wanted to fulfill this experience. I wanted to devote myself to it. And I didn't want to give up yet. So I stayed there in Hawaii by myself on this island in the middle of the ocean, away from everything and everyone I ever knew. And that's where it really started. So, yeah, it got intense and I felt really alone. It was beautiful at the same time, though. Like, I was in Hawaii, I was nannying full time. All I had to do was like wake up in the morning and take care of these 2 beautiful children by like waking up, making breakfast, doing yoga, playing in the backyard that was literally overlooking the ocean, sunrise, amazing. Guy was so hospitable. Like, he always made sure I felt so comfortable. And literally the shower that we had, like, you could it was in the middle of the living room with a huge tub, like spa tub. So you could open up, like, if the kids weren't there and Guy wasn't there, I could open up the shower in the middle of the living room and opened up the curtains, and I would take a bubble bath while looking the ocean and the sunset. Like, it was so amazing. It was so amazing. My time there was wonderful, but it was also very scary, and it was also very lonely. And so, yeah, there was a moment where I literally was by myself, and I had started drinking pretty heavily for a while. Like, I was drinking really heavily, talking to my ex, still doing, like, I just felt kind of like trapped, but also like, yeah, not okay, really. And so there was finally this moment where I was like weeping and like felt so like not okay and stressed inside and uncomfortable, and I just prayed and I prayed and I said, please, like, Lord, God, universe, source, everything, all of it, ancestors, guides, whatever, please, I know that you're here with me, you always have been, and I'm asking, I need guidance. Like, I'm ready. I'm ready. I don't know what it is I need to do, but I'm ready for it, and I ask for you to send me something. And I think it was either that night or that next morning, I was on Facebook and saw this, and I didn't really know a lot of what was around me at the time still. Like, I didn't, like, when you move to somewhere you've never lived before, you don't know where anything is. You can see, like, oh, here's this gym, and then you look up the address and it's like on a whole nother island that you can't even get to. So most of the things, it was like hard, and I was in the middle of the country, like there wasn't a lot around me where I was. And but I still was really lucky. There was a bus stop right out my door. I was able to ride the bus pretty well. It wasn't the most consistent, but I was able to do it. There were so many blessings, don't get me wrong, but it doesn't nullify the fact that it was still hard. So, I prayed, and I ended up coming across this sacred body healing course or experience, class. I don't know what to call it. Gathering. Page. I don't know. She was amazing. Her name is Paulina Ellis, and it was like sacred body healing. I didn't have barely any money left on me. I think I had like $50, and the ticket was $30, but I just trusted it. I was like, I'm just going to trust this. Like, there's such this strong feeling inside of me that says I need to go to this. And I Google mapped where it was. It wasn't that far from me in the stream of things. In Hawaii, everything's pretty far from you. So you have to, be somewhat accepting. But it was pretty fucking close. I think it was like 20, 30 minutes. It was over a huge mountain, beautiful drive. But yeah, I had like enough for gas and enough for the ticket. So I bought the ticket, and something right then just like clicked. It felt good. It felt right. And I also did that same thing with these crystals from this group called Twin Flame Innovations. And that has a whole nother story to it, which I'll come back to. Like, wild. I didn't even know what twin flames were until I saw them. I said, I need crystals. I need something to like help me ground. And I ended up coming across, it's like when I ask, it does come to me, as long as I am open to seeing and receiving it. Seriously. But so yeah, I ended up going to the sacred body healing, and that's where it seriously began. I went to this retreat, it's not a retreat because it was only one day, but I went to this beautiful home. It was called like the Buddha Tree. It's like a venue that people can have, whatever kind of course or lesson they want to have. Anyway, sacred body healing course. I show up. This woman is literally so beautiful. She has like this white gown and this lei, and her aura, her skin, she was so vibrant that I literally was like, who is this woman? Like, obviously she's tuned into something, because she literally like shines, like she beams. Like her skin was so just beautiful and vibrant. She was, I don't know how old, but definitely a lot older than am, but just youthful, just so youthful and vibrant and loving and calm, and it was just comforting to be around her. But we ended up coming in. There was like an altar, and I didn't really know what was happening, but I got there early, and then she was like, "Oh, do you mind like wanting to help me?" So I passed out these flyers. Anyway, I'm kind of getting ready to move forward with my day and with this food that I want to eat. But I just felt called to share and get on here because I've been wanting to do an actual video talking about my healing for a minute. I just didn't know how to start, where to start. I was going to start from like my childhood, but it's just too much. And so I'm starting with this, and then I can also maybe like touch base and into things from when I was younger in future videos. But this is basically like where my healing journey, like really the intention behind it and the intention behind doing the work began. Doing the play. It's like, it's work, it's hard, but it's really play. It's really rewarding. It's in the long run. It's fucking hard. Like it is something else. I'm telling you, like once I did it and I took that course with her, and like we were writing down things about our body. This is something I really didn't realize. I've always been someone who is like, like I do pray, I do connect with the energies beyond myself, and I've always prayed to them, thank you for everything, I'm so grateful, bless everyone around me, bless and heal my family and my friends, and like, please guide me towards what I need to do. That's always kind of what I've done. But in this course, she had us write down our relationship to our mother and to our father. When we wrote down that, like our mother, our father, what kind of like feeling did we get in our chest and in our stomach? And it was really a lot of like how we felt when it came to masculine and feminine. And I did feel weird things. I was like, whoa. And then she had us like talk about our bodies, like tell our bodies and ourselves that we love them. And like I love my hair, and I love my eyebrows, and I love my eyes, and I love my skin, and I love my blood, and I love my fat. I love my fat even. Like I love me. I love everything about me. And that was when I really realized, like, oh my goodness, like I had always thought I was someone that was pretty like fond of who I was. Like I liked my personality, my wildness, my whatever I thought that I was, I thought I appreciated it. But I realized right then, like not on that level, like I realized in my mind I constantly was so hard on myself. I didn't say things like I thought it was bad, actually. I thought that was like egotistical and selfish and just like not a good look to be like, I love myself, you know? But what the fuck? Like that is so far from what I believe is the truth now. Like how could everybody else and everything else deserve love and care and patience and kindness, but I don't even give myself that? Whew! And it was seriously like epiphany. Like it was so in front of my eyes, but I didn't know. So, and I like, people started crying and like had a hard time saying it. And then it even came to like, I love my vagina. And this is a group of women, and we all couldn't even say the word vagina. Like we all felt so uncomfortable talking or connecting with this piece of us, of ourselves. And yeah, it almost felt dirty or wrong. And that was like a big eye-opener right there. Like, why would that be the case? It's such a beautiful part of us. It literally brings life into this world. Like, anyway, yeah. So, yeah, that, and then we laid there, and as we told every part of ourselves that we loved it, and we went through this whole thing that she had us go through, we laid down, and I forget what, I think this is when we were telling like everything that we loved it. Like I love my cells, I love everything. And we're laying there, and then all of a sudden, and like I love my vagina, I love my abdomen, and then I felt like this like really strong, like icky energy. Like, oh my gosh, like it was like basically, yeah, like darkness, sadness, anger, pain, stress, anxiety, all of that, like in my belly, like in my abdomen down here, and like in my muhadra. I don't know if that's exactly where it is, but like my hara line, one of the chakras, I'm learning about those as well, and I hope to speak more about those, because in this journey, I've realized that it comes back to the chakras so often. Our meridian circles, whatever, all the things. There's so much information about them, and I'm excited to share. But yeah, I felt it in my stomach, and then I felt like, oh my goodness, it's going to come up, and it wants to come out of me. But with that, like my whole, I could feel like literally like it felt like all of my cells, my pores, my nerves were like up, and like if a cat or an animal, you know, when their hair all raises in the back of their spine, it's what it felt like I was doing. I was like, I don't know how I feel about this. Not okay. And then I felt like it in my throat, and then I felt like I was going to burst into tears, like weeping, like sobbing, uncontrollable sobbing in the middle of this room of people I didn't even know. And there was this thought in the back of my head that was like, don't do it. Like, it was so terrified. Like, don't you dare let this go. If you let this go, you're going to have no control. You're going to have no control. You're going to literally weep without the ability to stop. And you're going to be so naked. Like, I literally felt like once this happens, I'm going to be weeping uncontrollably, and I'm literally going to feel like I'm butt-ass naked in front of these people. Like, they're going to see me at my most naked, vulnerable, like, scary. But then there was this other voice that was, like, warming and calming, and it was like, that's okay. Like, that's what you're here for. This is exactly why you're here, is to do this, and you're in a safe place, and it's going to be okay. And so I literally was like, okay. And I like let it out of me. And I literally just, my whole body started shaking, like not like seizuring, but like I could just feel like all of these just like vibrating. And I was just crying and weeping, but it felt good. It didn't feel like, ooh, like sad how it is in my tummy. It was like so intense and just full and like weeping. And then as I started to like let it go, these people, the woman who was facilitating the course, Paulina Ellis, and then she also had someone else, I forget her name, but she's also amazing. She was also there helping. They came over to me, and I could feel them like brushing away at my body, like brushing the stuff away. And as they did that, it was like I could feel it all dissipate. And then I just felt pure like ease and warmth and comfort and joy and just like happy. And I just like started like giggling. I was like a crazy person, like bawling my eyes out, and then like they weave it away, and then I'm like, like start like laughing like a psychopath. But yeah, it was crazy. And then like after it all like breathed out, we all calmed down, and then we stood up, and they were like, came to me and were like, are you okay? And I was like, I am, but I still felt just so like intense, so like really like high. Like I just climbed the top of a mountain, and my body was all shaky, but I felt like extreme excitement and like adrenaline and just like accomplishment. But then really quickly it went from like, yeah, to like, whoa, all these people are seeing me. I'm still very like, don't look at me. I literally just basically like crop myself or something. Not really, but I just like put it all on the table. And then I was like, okay, but it's okay. And then I felt like boom, like exhaustion, like literally just like yeah, I felt exhausted and wanted to just be done and go home. So I ended up, yeah, we wrapped up, we hugged everybody, we like took pictures, and there's a video I took of myself or of everyone like getting together and like dancing and kind of resolving the whole thing, finishing it together. And I looked so different than I do now. Like I had gained a lot of weight from drinking. I had short hair because I tend to chop my hair off when I'm in stressful times. Maybe it's because I think that's like something I can control. I have no idea. I like want to eat this, but I know I'm going to be talking. So it's getting cold, but it's still going to be yummy. When you need to get it out, you need to get it out. So that's why I got up on here and I'm sharing. But this is right now is probably the most I felt like myself in, I don't even know, like years, like 3 years. Like honestly, no, I'd say 2, because I was feeling really good and really strong in who I was and how I felt right before I came back to Eugene from Hawaii. So, but then when I got back here, it was just like such a shift. I put myself back into situations that I knew were triggering for me, and I thought that I was ready, but I obviously was not ready. And it definitely took a big toll on me, and I went back to old patterns. And yeah, and so it kind of like I took a step back, and now, but that just happens with the process, and I'm okay with that. And I know that I'm where I need to be, and I am doing what I'm doing, and as long as I just look at what I'm thinking and just being present and aware with myself, very present and aware with myself, and paying attention to what my stomach feels like, what my intuition is telling me. And the more and more that I do that, the stronger and stronger it gets, and the easier and easier it is to not react impulsively or do things I think that I want to do or choose things I think I want. If I just slow down and reconnect with my heart and also grounding. Like I have to ground. I have to make sure I'm exercising or drumming or like dancing or doing things that bring me back into my body. If I don't do that, like there were moments in this healing journey where I was like, what the fuck did I get myself into? Like that's where the whole term, like knowledge is power, ignorance is bliss. And I have a rap about that. They say knowledge is power and ignorance is bliss. Which do you agree with? Or do you believe there's more beyond this? Beyond the naked eye, the web of lies, the flesh-eating virus they wrap in disguises, they hypnotize us, our minds to abide us. We are they who've spun the web, spread the disease, and paved the way for this world we've made. It's us. What was, what is, and is left to come. How we see it's how it's shown. And what we believe and know it to be is how it will be done. In ourselves is the energy that connects everything and everyone. So trust in yourself and all that you are, because everything truly is possible. Everything we've gone through was needed to fully understand it all. This concept I'm even speaking on, so we may move forward together, stronger than we've ever been before. As a world and as people, I ain't trying to be facetious, just got faith that we're capable of so much more. Come on, brothers and sisters, we gotta reach in, find our true souls, let the resurrection begin. Because I'm on a whole nother level than this thing we call religion. Wise up and realize it ain't hard of a decision. We manifest this life we live in. It's just all about the vision and if you're driven. So stand up and realize that life's the trip. There's no reason to escape from it. I can only hope that we haven't drifted too far, that people's hearts aren't too cold. I believe in us all. There's still so much room for us to grow, because all we are is potential, to be explored. If only we could see the message so blatantly shown all around us, that the truth lies within ourselves. There is no right question. There is no one answer. It is only what it is. It's just a gift, so accept it. So I build and have my own beliefs, and I'll strongly stand up for them. I'm going to spread them like they seeds. Undoubtedly, I'm going to free them. Don't care what no one thinks of me. I'll always be who the fuck I truly am. Gotta take a stand. Fight the faulty force. Fuck the man. Ride hard down your own course. And live it up. Live it up. What else is there to live for? Because this is why we were born, to wonder and experiment with the most of what is and more. But don't get caught up. Step stomping in circles. We search and we search for answers to everything and know really how the fuck did we get here. But I can tell you one thing. We ain't ever gonna get there or figure out shit as long as we stay trapped in our own fear. But this is why I stand here, basically preaching, because I've seen and heard things that definitely need some motherfucking changing. So, here we are. I know we can do it together. And this face, you must remember, because soon again you'll be seeing me with only the intention to spread love and peace. Okay. So, yeah, that's that. Knowledge is power and ignorance is bliss, man. That has been the conundrum for myself. Like, for a moment, it was better to not know, because once I knew, there was no turning back. And I had to change the way that I was eating, because I realized, oh my gosh, I've been eating this way for so long and I got used to it. I didn't know that this isn't how people normally feel. I felt, once I started eating healthy, I was like, holy shit, I had been eating that way and I thought how I felt was normal. I felt tired all the time, drinking energy drinks and coffee all the time, and then to alcohol, never any water, a lot of just like eating out and like just like easy made food. I didn't grow up knowing how to eat better. And it was really a difficult process. And I don't judge anyone who does it, because it's what we're raised. Like, there's so much of society that it's just so difficult. It can be difficult to, like, once I started eating healthy, I'd go to the grocery store and be like, what the fuck can I eat? None of this. And I didn't know where to go. I didn't know how to feed myself. And that was an extreme. Like, that was like, also stress kills, you know, so be easy on yourself in the transition. And that's something I had to learn also. Like, I have to be easy with myself in this transition, because it's not necessarily my fault, like, that I didn't know. And it's going to be a lot easier learning how to, if the whole time I'm not like, you so dumb that, like, how dare you not know all these things? Like, okay, I don't know these things. That's okay. Solution. Cook more, find out more, like, talk to people who do, and don't be embarrassed. I was embarrassed for a long time as well. Like, I remember my friend Mariah, we were going to have salad, and she got actual salad, like, from organic, like, just pulled from the farmer's market, and I didn't even rinse it. Like, I rinsed it barely, and she was like, went back and had to re-rinse all of the leaves, because I wasn't used to getting not store-bought in a bag salad. But yeah, come far from that. And that's okay. It's funny. But yeah. So it's like, it's definitely been challenging, because I had to relearn a lot, and I had to forgive myself for the things and the ways that I had done them for so long. So yeah, that's where it all began. I ended up leaving the retreat and going back to my home and literally just like sleeping for so long. And then when I ended up writing all of this stuff out, like memories and things and feelings that I had that I wanted to let go of and forgive. And I like have it all written out. I'll share it at some point. But yeah, I wrote out tons of stuff. I wrote out what it felt like, the experience that I had. It felt like if a smoker, I'll have to read it. Yeah. Like, it felt like gunk coming out of me. Finally, you know, when you smoke and then you hack up all this nasty stuff, some people just keep swallowing it. You'll like get a clump of phlegm and you swallow it because you don't want to be gross, or you have nowhere to spit it out. Well, instead of like swallowing, it was almost like I finally had spit up all of that nasty phlegm, and it was finally out of my body. Is what it seemed like. Black, sometimes there's like black stuff in it and stuff. So gross, so gross. I don't smoke anymore. Yeah, so I quit smoking cigarettes. I started eating way healthier. It was like self-love had shifted, and I started giving myself more self-love. And then I didn't want to put bad things into my body as much. Like, I had the care for myself and the love for myself that I was like, that's not going to be good for me. And I want to treat myself good, and I love myself. So I'm only going to put things in myself that represent that love. So, yeah, and fast food and chicken nuggets and like vodka and on ice with fruit every day. It's not good for you. It's just not, in all honesty. But, you know, everything in balance. I don't judge. I'm not here to tell you how to live your life. I'm just telling you where I was at, where I've come, my experience, and there's no judgment in any of it, because I've been there and I understand. But I can definitely be here to help you, show you that there's to share with you that there's something on the other side of that, and it is absolutely amazing, and it is worth the hard work, the play, the tough play. So yeah, thank you for tuning in with me, and now I finally feel like I at least got you, or like we're on the same page of like who I was and how I was behaving in the things in my life, and then where it like transitioned to me realizing that wasn't benefiting me, and there's something that I had to change, and then me finding Paulina Ellis and connecting with myself and my body and self-love, and then that's where that's where like the releasing and the shadow work started. So, and I will go into that more as well because there's been other experiences since then. But yeah, so sacred body healing, I ended up meeting, I was in Hawaii after that happened. I went through a lot of like tough stuff, calling my family, like, I'm all here alone. I don't know what's happening. Something's going on. There's things that are being pulled up. I was like, why did I go to that sacred body healing thing? Because now all this stuff that I pushed away for so long is coming to the surface. Did I really want to do that? It's there for a reason. Get back down there. Okay. No, no, I want it out because it's going to stay there either way. It's not like I'm going to escape it. There's no getting around it. It just builds and builds, and you end up getting sick. Like, it actually creates ailments in your body and your mind and depression and all sorts of things. So, yeah, not saying that I don't experience those things still, but it's different. It's completely different. Honestly, since then, it was literally like I had been walking around with anxiety in my stomach since like 13 when it became really apparent and really strong. I always had knots in my stomach. There were times where I felt like I couldn't eat because of it. I had to smoke weed in order to get rid of them, in order to eat. And then after that sacred body healing thing, I had a lot of like memories and emotional stuff come up. But one thing that I did notice was I was a lot lighter. My muscles and my body didn't have this like tenseness in my shoulders and my arms. It literally felt like I had relaxed, and my stomach was not in knots whatsoever. That's when I was like, whoa, like this wasn't something that I just had to deal with in forever. This is actually curable. Like, this actually can be helped. And it was like through releasing these things. And that's when I was like, whoa, okay, this is something. This is something I have to dive deeper into. This is something that I can help myself more and I can help others with as well. So I looked further into finding these things, these places, these courses, and as I found them, I met more people who were also on that same journey, who were also trying to heal themselves. I ended up at I ended up calling one of the girls that was at the sacred body healing thing with Paulina Ellis, and I was nervous to call her at first because I knew she seemed like a very healthy person. Like, we ended up getting food afterwards, and I wanted to get a beer and food, and she was like, I don't even really eat this kind of stuff, and I don't really want to have a drink. But she was not judgeful. She's like, you go ahead. She got like a salad or something. She was like, I could make this at home even better and less expensive. And that's when I was like, oh, like, that's cool. This is someone that I could probably connect with. But the other part of me that was like, you still want to eat bad and drink, was like, you can't hang out with this person. So, but then I finally like did this work and poured out all this stuff on my own. And I ended up calling her and was like, hey, like, I know it's been a minute, but I really wanted to connect with you. And I don't know a lot of people on the island. I was wondering if you wanted to connect at some point. And she was like, actually, I'm going towards where you live today. She was like, I can take you, I'm going to teach a ecstatic dance. And I was like, fuck yeah, let's do it. So she picked me up. We go to this thing, and I'm expecting like, oh, it's going to be in a gym, and it's going to be in a room with mirrors, and we're just going to do some ecstatic dance, and then she'll drop me back off at home. She takes me to this beautiful like oasis outside. And I guess that it was like a week-long thing that they were doing. And they had, people were it was a female group thing, healing thing. And they had paintings everywhere. They were all camping in tents. And they basically had like a worksheet that showed you all the different things that they were doing each day. And there was like yoni cleansing, massage therapy, and like ecstatic dance, and like then they had like an organic lunch potluck type thing, and sound healing, all of these things. And I was like, what? And this was like just day one, and they had like a couple more days after. So I didn't even end up doing the ecstatic dance thing. I told her, I was like, oh, I really want to do your ecstatic dance, but there's this like yoni cleansing happening at the same time. I would like to go to your ecstatic dance at a different time because I really think something's calling me to do this. She was like, that's totally fine. I ended up doing the yoni cleansing, and she ended up getting done with the ecstatic dance before I was done. And I was like, I think I'm just going to stay and find out. Like, I don't live that far, so I just think I'm going to stay. She was like, okay. She left. I ended up staying at this group woman gathering thing. Did like a yoni cleansing, a sound healing, connected with a few amazing women. Like, seriously, they're still friends to this day. They were the most powerful influence, like just amazing group of women. Oh my goodness. One of them I ended up actually staying with before I came back to Eugene. And she had the same birthday as me, actually. We ended up having the same birthday, same day. She's an Aquarius as well. Just hers was like she's like a year older than me. So yeah, and then that just kept going. And I'll share with you more about all of that. But I'm going to get off here. I'm going to eat my food and yeah, do things I need to do before the day is over. So that's me sharing where I was at, where I am now. We got a place, we move into it on the 1st, and we're staying with friends in the meantime. We hope to go camping and like go to the hot springs here this week, like a few days before we actually get to move in, because we still have like a week, I think, before the house is ready for us to move in. So yeah, so we'll see. But I'm just, we're hashtag snowflaking it. There's been moments that were tough, but it works out. It always does. Just got to keep the faith, stay positive, and be patient with yourself and life. Baby steps, baby. You have to just focus on what you can do right now. And write a lot. Write down your goals. What do you want to accomplish now? What is it that you want? What is it in your life right now that you need that would make you feel better? Like, what is it in your life that would benefit you now? And focus on those first. And as you focus on those, the things that aren't beneficial there won't be room for them, because you'll be doing things and putting more things in your life that do benefit you. Those things will just get pushed out, and you keep doing that more and more and more. And then when those moments that are tough, you just make sure you're doing the things that keep you grounded, taking that time for yourself to breathe, and like with meditating, honestly, it's been a journey with myself. Like, it's been a journey in its own with meditation. But I find that really meditation is just like, we constantly are going and going, being. Like my cousin said it best, like, I am trying to get better at being a human being than a human doing. We are human beings, not human doings. Human doing all the time. So being is seriously, I think, what a lot of us lack these days in society. We're constantly, like, also with my phone. I remember growing up, I didn't have a phone. I was very insistent that I didn't want a phone. I didn't even want Facebook. I was very not like about technology. I'm not saying I don't like technology. I have come to become very fond of it. I'm getting better at it. I think that there's amazing things that we can do with technology when we use it in the right way and we have discipline. So yeah, as with most things, balance. So yeah, there's that. Balance, grounding, just breathe. But yeah, we take things on all day. When I didn't have my phone before, I was just in the moment. Like, I wouldn't have something to always fill my mind or fill my time. In those moments where I was waiting for someone, or I had to like wait for my food, or like, just moments of pause, I wasn't doing something in those moments of pause. I was just like looking at the things around me, taking in the nature. Growing up in Eugene, Oregon, that was very I was thankful that there's trees all around us that you can take in, flowers and greenery. And if you don't live in a place with nature, you can still like surround yourself as best. There's ways. There's always a way. And if we always, like, the more that we continue that mindset, there's always a way, we will create the way. Once we start saying, oh, it's just how it is, then, like, what if the people who created the plane and, like, people who fought for, like, civil rights were like, this is just the way it is. I guess this is how we live life. Like, what the fuck? No. We can change things. We can fucking change things. We can change where we're living. We can move if we don't like it. We are fucking human beings, not trees. We are not stationary. We can do whatever we want. If you don't like something, we have the ability to change it. We have opposable thumbs. I'm just kidding. Anyway. Yeah, I love you all. You're fucking capable. You got this. Times are hard. Life can be difficult, but it's also absolutely beautiful and it's amazing, and it depends on how you want to look at it and what you want to focus on. So, I love you all. This is with so much love. It's hard for me to get off here. It's like once I get going, I'm just going. Hey, okay. Love you. Till next time, this is Truth Seeker, seeker of truth, speaker from the heart. And I really hope you all are doing okay, and I send all of my love. Until next time, once again, stay tuned. Mwah.